right, welcome all to the 9:30. That's right, our 9:30 live Wednesday night talk. We start at 9:30, and it's the 3rd of February. And tonight's topic, very high in mind, and I have some money on this topic too. A little bit of my money, a little bit of my client money, many of my students' money too. So I want to explain the fact behind the President Biden green policies. It have taken us almost a week or maybe slightly more to look into it, but we want to sort of put it into a very entertainment kind of information that at the end you can benefit from it. I think that's the whole purpose of it, and it's going to be on what does it mean for the KLSE Renewable energy sector. That's right. So having said that, let's go on. And for those of you how many of you are first time listener? Now if you're a first time listener, just type 1 in there. Your first time listener, just type 1 out. I'd like to welcome you to our Facebook at Martin TF Wong Insert, and this is the QR code that you want to sort of hang in and really check us, our Telegram, maybe once a day, twice a day, to see the information that we present to you will definitely help you and so forth. So this is the Telegram. If not, just join that, and we definitely, it's totally for free and for that one. Okay, so hopefully you are able to join that one, and let's move on. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Some of you may be busy, and just subscribe to our YouTube channel. You click on the just type in youtube.com/tradevsa, and many of our topics, very enjoyable, will get you into the right frame of mind, the right sector too. Don't forget about, of course, not to forget our favorite apps. That's right, our favorite mobile apps for the KLSE investing trade idea. There's 2 QR code on the far left hand side. If you have not installed yet, do install it, or use the referral code that we have on the right hand side. That will get you really started on that one. And more importantly, do share this 200 credit, because I do find some of people did ask me, hey, I would like to get more free promotional credit. There you are. Just share with your friend. That is under the tab menu profile. Just share that on your WhatsApp, and when your friend download, you will definitely get 200 credit. Now, we'd like to welcome all the first timer in here to all our talks in here, strictly for free. Now, of course, don't forget our ever popular breakfast show that we do every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Of course, we have picked a lot of great stocks, starting, as you can see, from number 1 to number 10. All are technology stocks. What to do? Technology sector is the one that is moving, right? But more importantly is the lesson learned behind it. And some of these trade idea, will it become the top gainer for 2021? Definitely Pi today has hit higher, UWC, KGB also higher, revenue, Sudamari also today, finally, I think 3%. Great Tech, Funcan, MI Tech, FG Group also I think come back. Inari also another mover too. I think $3 here, not too sure. I think Penta also going to hit $7 in here. All this as part and parcel of our intermediate trade ideas using trending list. Now, if you have not installed the Smart Robie, use this, because many of these ideas came in and the date was on the bracket in there. And what we do, we actually break our breakfast show. Those of you who have not attended, we break it to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's right. So we have 3 sections in here. So these are the dates. So whenever you're free, you feel that you're advanced level, do join us on Friday, if not on Wednesday and Monday, which is the beginners level in here. Now, meanwhile, let's talk about meanwhile. Okay. Now, the real scope of things, we don't get down to it. Now, why is this? If you notice, this news was on the Star Business today. Credit given to Star Business. It talks about our Malaysian high carbon dependency in here. If you look very closely, this is a report from Maybank. It tells about 11% of our GDP growth is oil and gas. We all know Petronas is coming in, also a part of the oil and gas. Now, why is this important? Because the transition, what we call about a net zero carbon, right, requires a lot of initiative from the government as well, interruption to investment and jobs. Now, I was talking to a friend of them who is in the Exxon Mobil, and also they are also investing in what we call a low carbon, but still a carbon. But the target in here is not really net zero carbon, which they are trying to achieve in here, and we will provide the story behind it. But more importantly is one of the stock that you see on the right hand side, which actually highlighted too by the analyst, is Tenaga. Now I'm going to ask every one of you, how many of you have Tenaga Nasional Berhad as your stock? Do you have it or not? Yes or no? Just type it in there if you have Tenaga. If not, you say, I got rid of it long time ago. Good. Okay. Now, definitely we want to see on the right hand side in here. It also said about the trend. Now, what we want to do is really measure the trend that we see in Tenaga, as it says inside there, over 60% of the power generation comes from coal, the dirty coal, the one that release a lot of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and cause global warming. And right, that's the issue why we are here today. All right, so this is the stocks, and you do notice over time with the renewable energy taking place, even more so right now with Biden winning the November election 2020, we have seen this trend continue. Let me just bring up this laser pointer here, and you can see this market continue to fall, and also that coincide eventually with the earnings. That's right. Now you always see that. Now this is where price, now remember the trend is price always move ahead. Right now, as most of you know, the solar sectors, the renewable sectors are doing the same thing. Instead going down, it is going up. But many pundit, many fundamental people, many value investors are saying that, look, the earnings does not justify the price going higher. But if you can see here, you will notice Tengaga, price drop first, then earnings only come. Would this be the same for what we talk about tonight, or the solar sector? Price go up first, earnings come. What do you think? Right? Now, there is a lot of theory, there's a lot of studies, people talk about price followed by earnings. In our respect, it's volume spread analysis, which we look at the price, we look at the volume, because eventually all things falls to smart money, the insider. These are the insider who know more than everyone. I'm going to show you a couple of examples going forward in here. Also, in the same line, the manner what we have in Malaysia right now, we have the MCO right now. Today I just checked, you can see this chart here, we hit 5,005, and then we have this thing like climatic, it came back, right? And now to this evening we hit, I think 4,002. No doubt we hit the high, and it's important that we shouldn't go back to 5,000. As such, the MCO has been extended, and guess what? I'm being a Chinese, we have limited Chinese New Year celebration. This time it really hit us. I suppose it's just within our family and neighbors, if that can be done, assuming we cannot travel in balik kampung. Anyway, my kampung is also in Klang Valley, no problem also, right in here. So the MCO has brought a lot of challenges to our ministry of domestic, and as well Ministry of Finance in here. Tengku Zafro, I think he got Datuk Sri, if not mistaken, for Crown. So in here, a lot has been said about the Malaysia need to achieve our GDP target, which is the 6.5, 7.5 for 2021. So right now, the new keyword. Previously, they were saying something else. Now it's all vaccine, because everywhere else, if you look at Europe, you look at Brazil, Italy, and even as far as US, the vaccination been rolled out. We have said already, Malaysia still haven't received its batch, but we have getting the Sputnik 5 from the Russian, which has an efficacy rate of 91%. Yet to be seen those data, but I guess when it comes to it, whether you're going to put one injection over on you with the Russian, the Chinese, or you want the American one in here, time will tell definitely in here. But the promise of our government in here to deliver all vaccine through government and private practice, I think eventually, I think maybe you and me more likely to probably get it from the clinic, right? Even there was an idea, I was thinking maybe Grab will deliver vaccine to you, where the Grab food rider, mana lengan kanan atau lengan kiri, he will jab it for you. Will be really interested. Imagine Grab delivering your vaccine, no problem. Just like you order your food, you order your vaccine. But again, this all need to be ministered from the Ministry of Health. But definitely, we want to get that eventually, Grab delivering the vaccine in here. So having said that, we want to also look at the Bursa flow, very important in here. Now, those some of you who are members, you can actually get this through our plugin package. This chart that you see, quite unique. And really what we want to show you is this, what we call the KLCI, the little blue line in here. Now, we did have the foreign fund hit new high way up here, and as such, the market really picked up. And then market flow out. We got another one around the what we call the 150 mark, the average one, and the market pick. Right now, the last 2 days, take note, foreign funds are coming in. Will we see this support at 1580 being at the lowest level? Right? Tonight, or maybe tomorrow, we'll see the foreign funds coming in. If foreign fund coming in, that's a positive. That will tell you our market's going to retest back 1600 in here. Now, the foreign fund has always been a plate, and I think I've talked about this also on the rubber glove, isn't it? Now, everyone having said that, the big players that are actually holding the rubber gloves are the retailer like you and me, who has, maybe lack of a better word, don't want to cut loss. Has it occurred to you that you bought your rubber glove too high, don't want to cut loss, and you're holding on, whereas the institutional like your EPF who already sold it, the foreign funds already sold it? That's why we see this here, this red line here are the foreign funds leaving in here. And I show this every week, those of you who have come to my show, so you definitely understand this. All right. So let's move on to next what we have for you. And again, not to miss out is our the sector. Those sectors are very important in here. Let's look at it now. The sectors, we all know the technology sectors are doing well. Definitely the solar, it's usually in the industrial products in here. You can see industrial product is becoming more, but the number of solar players are very few. I'm going to cover them towards the end of the, so don't go away, continue to follow us. But definitely hot sector is the technology stock. Again, early on our breakfast show, which I already showed you just now, many of those stocks started to move as early as back in December. The PIE, UWC, Great Tech, all those, we pick it through our trending stock. So nothing to be missed, nothing to lose if you have just get Smart Robie in your phone here. All right. So let's go on to what we have next here for you. Now, meanwhile, okay, this is also important just to tell you the dynamics where the market is. And ever since we have the red pentagon in here, market tend to trend downwards. That's right. Likely, we have this fella here, right? This fella looks like what? It looks like a bear, isn't it? So that tells you this bear is in town. That's right. So the bear is in town. He's likely to stay, right? Market trending downward. Why is that? Now, is this because of the MCO, or is this because of the extended MCO that we're getting and then the market fell? Or is this due to the selling of the rubber glove? Because also the what we call the financial sectors hasn't been doing so well. Partly is because of the anticipation of the interest rate. So when interest rate are going to be cut off, bank don't make money. That's why we see this down. But having said that, I have shared with you a little good news is the foreign fund flows. The foreign fund flows in the last two slides, you can see it is edging up, and that's what's going to sort of, tall tale. But definitely we can see 1620 to 1630 remain the resistant in line. I do think where we are right now, it is the considered the low. The 1580 is the support that we're getting right now. I hope we get that hook, but like it or not, we still need to wait for the green pentagon. Now you can see the last green pentagon we have it in 1st of November. That was a good one. It did run almost 1.5 months and spot on the red pentagon. Now if you don't know what's pentagon all about, just downloaded the Smart Robie. Those of you who are first time and able to follow all our development apps through our Facebook and also on the Smart Robie in the Facebook, just type it in there. All right. So definitely possible bear in town. All right. Now, of course, we will turn our attention right now to the US market. That's right. Now we can see on this US market, the Dow Jones, right? We hit almost 31,000 here. You can see here was 31,000. Sorry, here was 31,000, and it did make a turn because of the sell-off that we see. We are seeing a possible correction, and right, very similar to KL. And then the market detail. I thought this thing could eventually break down and maybe go back to 29,000, but it did not. And one of these things is partly the continued stimulus that we are seeing right now as President Biden being the president in here. So the first 100 days, it is tackling the COVID-19. So they are talking about the 1.7 or 1.9 trillions, which are going to go into the COVID stimulus. And that is actually pushing the chart back up there. What do you think? Do you think that this market in here, it's going to be going lower or going higher? Just type it in there. I'd like to hear what it is. If you like what you see so far, give me a thumbs up. I know this is a lot of information in here, but it's important that we get through it. But at the same time, Donald Trump is really the GOP, the government of people, the government of people in the United States still wanted Donald Trump to lead the Republican leader going forward. So this is the dynamics they are seeing. But I do think eventually this market is going to crack back up, but we still need to wait for the green pentagon to come in. That's right. So this green pentagon is important. Once the green pentagon comes in, you can see we will see a new trend going up. That's what we want to see. So my question is, we don't look at so much at the pattern. For the most basic level, for the beginners, just follow the green pentagon and wait for the red pentagon. So red pentagon, you have to be careful. If the market were to break through here, that was where I thought this market is going to. But tonight, we will see the market probably going to hit this resistance around 30,700 level in here. That's the level that we want to be seeing in here. All right. Now, my 5+1 mega trend for 2021, it's also important. I think I talk about it in my 3 workshop, because from time to time, all the theme that I'm talking about will refer to these 6. Definitely the first one came through, number 6. Bitcoin accepted widely. Now, Elon Musk tweeted just 2 days ago, right? Bitcoin is on the verge of seeing broader acceptance by finance. And what is that? Because that will tell you Bitcoin is here to stay. And my message to you is very simple. If you were going to invest, please go along this 6 theme. Let me just go back in here and show you what I mean here. Go back, the China theme, the green energy, the 5G technology. That's why we saw all the technology stock, right? The AI, self-autonomous driving, the EV cars, right? E-commerce, your Square, your PayPal, your Alibaba, your Shopee. Those are the counter. And then the last one is the Bitcoin. Of course, I will cover more Bitcoin in the masterclass that we are doing this weekend. So for those of you who have registered for our masterclass, I'll see you, and definitely going to go into and talk about that. But for tonight, right, here is number 2, what we call trend mega number 2, which is the green energy policies and the movement that we're seeing, the Paris Climate Agreement, way back when they all 149 countries came together and signed it. So we will talk about that. Now, definitely this is not a billboard, this is a power plant. We see that a lot in Federal Highway, we see that over in North-South Highway, and also some of the big highways in here. But we have not yet to see this with a solar panel on top. Even Mr. Warren Buffett, the richest value investor, he did build a lot of wind farm now in US to enjoy the tax credit for Berkshire Hathaway, because that is the power of green energy. Now, Warren Buffett, like it or not, he's from the old school. So having said that, this thing that can give them tax credit, he will definitely come in. You can see he is investing in here. I hope to see this one day in our KL highway too. All right. Now, on day 1, when President Biden sworn in on January 20th, 2021, which is only about 2 weeks ago. So we have talked about this in here. But what's very important today is the President Biden green policy, how it's going to impact. So we're going to talk about a lot about in US, and then try to translate down to the KLSE. So I hope you can able to follow that. That will be great. Now, on day 1, one of the first thing that he wanted to do, he actually signed executive order to rejoin back the Paris Climate Agreement that they went in 2015, because Donald Trump, again, I will talk about him later, decided to pull out, because that will pave way for more green energy initiative. Number 2, which is actually along the same line, he cancelled the Keystone Pipeline extra large project, which actually commit the Biden administration to a climate change agenda. Those are the 2. Of course, the Republican and those who is in oil and gas, and those people who work in the pipeline, the 10,000 over jobs of them, they felt they've been cheated because they selected the wrong president. And we all hear this. This election was stolen, continued. So with the 2 executive order that he signed, although he signed 17, these are the 2 main ones that actually talks about where it all started and how it's going to impact our investment. Already itself, the solar, which I bought after he won, I'm already in the money 40% in some of those stocks. I think some of our members also from the masterclass, you all know which stock I'm talking about, right? In here. So let's talk about January 2020, when President Biden was sworn in, and his plan from the Biden-Kamala Harris campaign that they've been doing over the last 2 years, right, was all about climate and clean energy. All right. So going forward, the oil and gas, that's what, even the stocks that I have, Dayang and Dialog, I also sell. Get rid of it quickly, right? As we go forward, rotate, just like what I talk about in the article in Malaysian Reserve, which I also posted on Malaysia reserve. Okay, we have the Miss Praya, the business journalist, did interview me with regards to the clean energy, the climate change. So I given my honest opinion. I don't know, maybe that somehow prompted more people to rethink about their sector selection and sector approach to all this clean energy in here. Of course, let's look at the Biden, the 5 plan on part of his Biden Kamala Harris in here. Now, of course, the amount, it's going to be huge, 1.7 trillion in securing their future. That is only on the US side in here. Now, number one, US want to ensure 100% clean energy when it reaches zero emission, right? By no later by 2020. That's the most important one. Clean energy inside here, 2050. So that pave away almost 29 years going forward. And also rally the rest of the world. Now, we all know when Biden, Donald Trump came in, he sort of, go against all the green energy movement. And as such, it actually defeat the whole climate change. And even he said that climate change is bogus, which I will look at some of the statement he said. But also some of the point number 4 is really talk about helping community and a low income in here. And number 5 is power the next industrial revolution, which is along the same line as the 6 mega trend that I shared with you. But look at those 6 mega trend because that is the one that's going to help you in your portfolio over here. Now, of course, 81 million people, American, voted for Biden. So what it simply says that 2/3 of the survey way back in this report under the Pew Research Center, that 2/3 of the American wanted to move away to fossil fuel. Now, I think also in many ways, many of you already, how do I say it? Have a hybrid car, isn't it? Now, hybrid car is one way that first going into net zero emission means we are using less, and also in a way we save money too. Of course, the RE stand for renewable energy. Renewable energy is the fastest growing job. 12 out of 50 said, of course, when this survey was done, the fastest growing were blue states. That's right, were blue states. And because many people in the past, in the red state, we're talking about Texas, in Georgia, they were more, in Pennsylvania, because that's where the Keystone Project is, more inclined towards the oil and gas. So number 3 is all about retraining this union worker, which we all get a lot of resistance right now. So you can see right now in the news that is appearing in US, a lot of people are very, very against this President Biden. They say he's not my president because he takes away my job. But on the flip side, those people who voted for him wanted him to move away from fossil fuel, and that's being a real controversy in here. And of course, the Senate, which is the Congress, are playing up into this whole steel, the steel and the Capitol Hill riot that we've seen on January 6th inside here. So on the pre-COVID-19, very important is that the renewable energy eventually, what it hoped by the Biden administration, will outnumber the fossil fuel workers. Okay, the fossil fuel workers during his administration, no doubt about it. Right now we have numbering 3-1. The people with the loudest noise right now is oil and gas. The people who has jobs, usually in the clean energy, they don't come out and really kacau a bit. So that's what we are currently seeing right now in here. So what happens is Biden will continue to invest 1.7, and the main theme here, again, it's very simple. Moving away from oil and gas. You can see this here. We have the nuclear. They don't change much. The coal is going to drop more and more. The gas, the hydro, right? Because they don't have a lot of hydro. But you take note, in year 2020 onwards, you can see solar is the yellow one and wind is the other one. So wind, of course, is very prevalent in US because of the big turbine that you see a lot in California, and they have a lot of wind there. In Malaysia, we don't have so much wind, so that's why we don't have, in West Malaysia, we don't have wind turbine. What we have is a plenty of sunlight, so the only industry that will take off in Malaysia is the solar industry. So I hope that one is very clear to you. Solar. So going forward, very similar to US, you can see the take-up rate from 2024, 26, 28, 30 onwards, solar will be very. So why is this important? Anybody want to answer that? Now this is important because eventually solar, pretty much like in US, that trend will come here. Now I'll give you an example. The recent tax rally that we see, it rally in US. So that rally also come to Malaysia. So that's why all the tech stocks started to run. By merely studying and understanding the Biden policies, you can make money from this trend already onward. So I hope that information does help you a fair bit in here. Right now, also with the Joe Biden, what we talk about the net zero emission in here, what they're hoping is to create a new agenda, a 10 million new paying job, but reskilling of the people or the oil and gas from used to digging a hole, now installing roof and technician. A lot of roofing you need to, and most of them have to done manual. You've seen those solar panel on roof, someone have to climb up and install. So you can see more and more workers is going to be very dark because under the sun inside here. All right, now so far I hope you like all the information that I have. If my information is good, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, so I'll make sure this information is good, because when you understand how the solar will impact US, those policies, which I'm going to talk about in the later slide, will also impact Malaysia. So meaning your ringgit invested in the solar will come true, and that's how you're going to make your money in here. Now, of course, it's all about reducing all consumption, right? So in US, you have two sides. The Democrat, the blue states, are more into the renewable energies. Then we have the red state, which is the Donald Trump and the Republican, are oil and gas. Even the Senator, Ted Cruz, it's all about oil and gas. And he's actually been sponsored by a lot of oil and gas in here. Now, along the same line in US, let's look at Europe too. Now, Europe intend to ban the sale of petrol and diesel car by 2040. All right, that's number one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Norway, within 4 years from now, no more petrol car. Last holiday before the COVID, I was in Norway for holiday, and I did ask them, why you guys are into Teslas and all electric car? And that gentleman in the bus stop, when I was taking a bus, and he said that, look, we are so close to the Arctic. Anything climate change, they got storm, they got bad weather, and they'll be impacted because Norway is the closest to the Arctic. So that's why they're banning all the petrol car by 2025. Now it's already 2021, 4 more years. So when you ever go to Norway, a beautiful country, lots of fjord, right? I went there during winter, damn cold, man. Next time don't go Norway during winter, man. Very cold. Go during summer, but winter is good. You can see the northern lights. But even from where I went to, from Oslo, you gotta fly another 1,000 kilometers away to see the northern light. And no guarantee you can see northern light. Sometimes you have to be there for 3 days to see the northern light. Very cold. Okay, maybe another time you go during the autumn to see the northern, but it's beautiful, I was told. So eventually what I did the budget way. I watched it over YouTube. Was in Norway, watch it over YouTube. What to do, right? So cold, very cold. Alright, so I hope you like that little story. So, okay, now going forward also, UK is going to ban new petrol and diesel car by 2030. Now, what does it mean? You can see 2030, 2025, 2040, Malaysia, 2050. Okay, 2050, I know it's still a long way from now, 30 years old. By the time I'll be 80 years old, okay? But some of your children will be running. Now, again, a lot of your children, when they are born, even now you have little family all starting up, right? They will be into electric car because this trend is coming again, right? No more, just like, think of it, the fossil fuel car, eventually, you will go to the museum and see. That's right. You're probably going to the museum. Oh, this is the first proton night run on 1.6 petrol car. They will be seeing in the museum. They won't be, like now what we do, we all drive our petrol car, isn't it? So the big car, the 3 liter and the 4 liter, that's going to get less. A lot of hybrid cars and definitely electric cars. So that's why it spurs a lot of electric cars. Again, another time, going back to the global mega trend, this is what's driving there. If your money on electric car, we have seen Tesla, how much you have moved, 800% in there, over there, in here, right? So, and that's one of the 3 points. So, really likely we're buying electric car in here. Okay, having said that, this is why Biden, before he even achieve 2050, he's talking about 2030, an intermediate climate plan, which is very achievable. Moving more workers into the alternative industry, but first, doing 2 things. Rejoining climate change where it has a purpose, and 2, cancelling the pipeline Keystone project, because that tells you a lot of pollution is down. So with that, basically, it's sort of slowly killing off the job. Of course, you will get a lot of people making small protests here and there, but these jobs will come to, and it will impact our frontline very soon. So let's go on to the Paris agreement that was done in 2015. Now, why is it important? Bottom line is to keep global temperature below 2 degrees. Of course, we in the tropical in Malaysia, very good, isn't it? What's that? Higher temperature better, isn't it? Right? Because we are actually hotter. We are getting hotter. That's right. It's not getting colder. We're getting hotter. Now, of course, the Paris climate change is all about keeping the carbon emission to net zero. Carbon emission, net zero, or net emission is zero. Net carbon will be less because of rising temperature. When the rising temperatures, we have the melting of the ice sheet. You can watch that on CNN. You can watch that in all the so-called National Geographic, and you see that is the implication. Even our neighbors Singapore are building a wall to protect themselves. Can you imagine one day the Sentosa casino, the water will rise 4 feet and everything flooded, also habis. So those are the things they are talking. Now here is what we call the historical projection and climate change. So it's also important that now in year 2020 we are right here. So whole point is to keep it below 1.5. At this rate where we are going in year 2020, we're going to hit past 2.0. Right now, the very recent one, I think only last summer, we have the Californian wildfire. I think you've been following it. In California, it's all, from the San Francisco and LA, it's all red. You can see a red sun and a lot of people die. And also the same time, we have the Australian bushfire here. And again, I contacted my friend Swee Lo. He said this time also in Australia is very hot, but luckily no bushfire and touch wood. So this is 2020. So as the world temperature go higher, okay, temperature go higher. If you don't do the climate change, the 2015, we don't go on all the missions and things like that, you will see this thing is going to hit 1.5 on the average growth, and hitting 2 every day got problem. Man. We are very, very lucky in Malaysia, to be frank. We're in the tropics, we got rain, we don't have disaster, we do not fall under the rings of fire. That's why we don't have earthquake. The most is couple of monsoon, flying roof, that's about it. Don't you think so, right? We are very, very lucky in Malaysia. We are protected by Sumatra on the west, and protected by the Borneo, the Kalimantan on the right. So we are quite protected from all this. If you notice, going to Sabah side, they have typhoon blowing up, and that's a pretty in there. And they also have earthquake too. Don't forget in Sabah in here. All right. So this is why we find that we are quite good at climate change. So looking at the climate change on the Paris the what we call the conference of 21. Now this is all the agenda that is in there: climate damage, burden sharing, finance. I know there's a lot. If you are anti so-called anti fossil fuel or climate change activists, this makes sense to you. But for us, laymen like me, we just want to understand how to make money. Some people say, why Martin, you're so money minded one? Well, you study so much, so at the end it's all about putting pockets into it. Do I say this makes sense or not? Right? If I say, give me a thumbs up. Okay, there's a lot of things to read, a lot of things to research. If things that we research don't make money, what for to check up? It's just like coffee shop talk here, talk there, don't make money one, right? So let me just summarize in here for you. Now, if you look at the Paris 2015 climate change, the most important one is on just above my head here. That's the one. Okay. Now, long-term goal, we're talking about keeping the temperature below 2%, 1.5, 100 billion, so and so forth, isn't it? Right? But more important is this: that 1.7 trillion from US, another $1 trillion in solar investment. That's right, solar by new global alliances. That means solar only, So solar is what? Solar panel, isn't it? 1 trillion, no. That's a lot of money. So where do you want to put your money now? So on that information itself, going forward, now remember, this year, the COP21, they're going to meet, they call it COP26. It's basically, I'm going to get down to it, it's a conference of participants. They're going to meet in Glasgow. If the COVID can be had in November, they're supposed to meet last year in COVID. Because COVID was there, they couldn't meet. So they're going to meet in Glasgow. I think it's going to joint venture with Italy in Glasgow. So when that meeting, they talk about it, a lot of this information is going to come out that they're going to spend in solar investment if that meeting happened in November, which gives us about 7 months from now. So which means from now, February to November, a lot of news will be coming out. That's why you're seeing all the solar shares are moving up. Of course, you don't want to hear when the full blown in November, right? Full blown November, everybody talk about solar. You buy your solar, what happened? Smart money sell, isn't it? So that is certainly right. Okay. So here's the point. You want to get in a bit early inside here, all right? Okay, so you want to get in early inside. Okay, now there are some questions I will answer to you later. So again, so let's look at the Donald Trump era, where we came from. Now in 2016, 2020, I'm not don't live in US, I live in Malaysia. Okay, the President Trump policies has been a way, many of his approach is always blaming someone. We all know where Donald Trump is coming from, right? He says that the global warming is created by the Chinese, and always the boogeyman. Everything is so Wuhan Chinese, everything is so blame China, right? Because he had to find one enemy, and the easiest enemy, the easiest way to hit is Chinese. And in this, some of the earlier tweets that he have, 2014 and 2020, he talked about global warming and all this BS thing need to stop. But at the same time, US was one of the biggest polluter in thing. Because why? He is one of the biggest support of oil and gas. And the people who sort of and he's a Republican, being conservative, very nationalistic, inward looking. So it's going to be oil and gas. So that's right, up until November 2020, all those BS will stop. Because right now, with President Biden going in, remember, 81 million people voted for Biden, and 77% of people want a switch to an alternative energy. Now, how many of you into alternative energy? Just type RE. Okay, I am into alternative energy going forward. No choice. We just sort of follow it and try to make the best out of it, knowing the woman. Now if you are into it, just type RE. Okay, renewable energy or solar. Just type it in there so that I will know. So again, Donald Trump trying to reason. We all know that he says that he knows more than science, and he is really the real genius in here. But we all know that really didn't turn out to be quite true, isn't it? Knowing he was the real genius in here. Now also with this Republican Senate, and you can see some of the excuses that they have is that the climate run in a circle, and if it's warm because of global warming, it's because how God designed it, and that's a relationship, and because there is a sun is burning. And on the right hand side, from a senator, a Republican from Pennsylvania, Scott Wagner, say the earth is moving closer to the sun every year, and we have more people, isn't it? So more people you eat, more people use heating gas, and as a society, that's what we change. Even my sifu, Bill Womack, who's American, he doesn't believe in global warming too, and he say the same thing too. Right? Because the sun thing, it's kind of interesting to see, to get a spec. Now, some of you who are in the elderly, maybe American, I'd like to hear your view too. It's very difficult to comprehend how Republican think. If I'm in US, I think I would likely to be a Democrat. All right. Now, at the same time, what we have seen so far, and because the 2016 to 2020, US has stepped out from the renewable energy, and he has lost that race to China, which is actually referred to the mega trend number one. That's why we saw China dominant, because of Donald Trump policy is looking inwards, right? Everything is all inwards. You get the QAnon, you got the American militia, you got the Black Lives Live, so many of these issues, right? They forgot that race, that race to be competitive. And right now, China, right? They say China Middle Kingdom. And you can see China has spent so much on renewable energy. Of course, not only that, AI, electric vehicle. Even today, Green Tech, remember, right? Great Tech signed up with American to produce electric vehicle. Boom, that stopped Great Tech. You take a look at the chart today, up 11-12%. That's right. So any of this green movement, you can see why by understanding some of the slides. You know what big impact, because you're talking about billions and billions and trillions of things. And most difficult is putting a valuation, because we don't know it. But when they come, it's going to come. But one thing for Malaysia, which is good, because understand, we have this real problem, which is what? The trade war, isn't it? Which is passed on by Biden, right? Sorry, passed on by Donald Trump to Biden. There's still a trade war between US and China, because they cannot buy directly from US. So they have to buy from any other countries that manufacture either EV, solar panel in Malaysia. You get the point, no? Means US want to grow. We saw that 1 trillion, whatever the case is. They cannot buy from China. China being the manufacturers, global manufacturer, everybody, because of the US trade war, they have to buy from someone. That someone is Malaysia company. That's why you see Great Tech joint venture with this startup to produce EV battery car. So it's no surprise with this policy. By understanding this policy, you can see more and more of this kind of stocks. That's why the stock share pop, 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 pop straight up. Okay. So you can see China really going into it, and who knows, China may come to Malaysia. So China come to Malaysia, give business to Malaysian businessmen. US come over, joint venture, give Malaysia to businessmen. That's how we grow. That's how the stock market grow. And that's how we benefit. No secret, right? Okay. So that is, what we're talking about in here, right? So now let's turn our attention to Malaysia. Now I'm going to ask all of you. Now this is an example for one of my friend's house in here. He has solar panel in here. Now I'm going to ask everybody in here, right? Would you do this? Now one of my friend, he had this installed 400,000, right? But because they are following what we call the NEP, that you can, or the tariff feed, right? You can sell it back to the grid. And he's making about revenue, a revenue of 4,000 to 5,000 revenue per month. Okay, but he invested. So if you do your mathematics, that takes about 89 months payback, or roughly about 7 to 8 years. Would you invest or not? Would you invest or not? That's the whole question in here. Now again, so the question is, would you invest in a RE solution on solar home or not? Now type it in there. If you are going to invest in a home solar, just type home solar, because it's really expensive, to be frank with you. But it pays back on average about 7 to 5 years. Now issues do come in. Now the point is, because once you start putting money into solar, not everybody can do it, of course. If your house is condo, cannot lah. If your house is very small one, roof very little, you also cannot do. So this solution was viable, and of course some people find that, look, they want to commit, just like Biden committed to it, right? They want to invest. But good point, which is made by Miss Ding here. After 7 to 8 years, it's revenue. That's right. You cover back, because most investment about 7 to 8 years. And solar power, solar panel that you have on top of your roof will give you about 30 to 35 years. So on top of that, you actually made some money going forward in here. Yeah, okay. So this is the going forward. But a lot of people may see this again. If you are what we call climate change activists, you want to do your part to help the environment, I think this is something we all can do. Get EV car. At least we do our part, right? You still make money, but after 8 years, and this is quite true. So she given me this example: 400,000, 4 to 5K, because she get this from by selling back to Tenaga. So you can see why Tenaga share going down, isn't it? In the past, Tenaga sell electricity to you, right? Now you sell electricity back to Tenaga. So how Tenaga will make money? Tenaga have to pay you, right? You can see so revenue going down. So it's like what Hari say, buy solar stocks, okay? Yeah, okay. Of course, there's a battery you can recharge it in that, okay? All right, good. There are some incentive. I'm going to get down to that in here. All right. Now let's look at the more recent one. A comment made by Najib. Najib said that the solar Panasonic in Kulim akan ditutup. Dibuka 2013 during the PRU number 14. I think he bid for it into Panasonic near. So, but guess what? Panasonic sold it to Chinese. So he appealed to the people that find a white knight to save the solar panel plant. And this was only 2 days ago. So this sort of caught my attention in here. And in fact, in Malaysia, right, the top 10 solar panel makers are from China. As I said before, they don't build it in China. One of the reasons why you build in China, US won't buy. Because all protest, so they build it where? That's right. If you look at number 1, Jinko Solar. Have you heard of a word called Jinko Solar? JKS is listed on NASDAQ. Anybody heard of Jinko Solar? Okay, now we're going to go down to individual shares inside here. Jinko Solar. They are actually in Seberang Perai. You can see here is the bridge. You can see that, right? The Penang Bridge, right? They got 7 plant. Very big, no. You all don't know about Jinko Solar. I also don't know when I do this research, I find out about them. They are number 1. All right, Jinko Solar in here. They have about 7 plants inside here. So they are quite big in Malaysia. Good. Some of you are in that industry, and it does help up in here. So again, let's talk about Malaysia right now. During our Paris Climate Agreement that we have, and our Pakatan government previously before the Perikatan, you being in the X Science and Technology, talk about Malaysia commitment. Because Malaysia currently on renewable energy very, very little only. 2% only. Just give you a statistic. In US, all right, a number of cars that is running on electric vehicle is only 2% also. 2% electric vehicle, okay? In US, we have 320 million, assuming one household have 2 car, okay? 2 car, you're talking about 500 million car. Right now, EV is only 2%. 2% of 500 million, so which means there's a tremendous growth. That's why you see Tesla stocks are going up. Very simple. 2% of the vehicle are electric car only. I'm not talking about hybrid, I'm talking about electric car. So that tells you there's a lot of potential to grow. All right, we'll cover EV another month. Today we cover solar first. So you can see the investment much better in here. Is my sound still okay? Still alright, right? The sound is still okay. Okay, if you can't hear me, just let me know. Just want to do a sound check. Is a test, if my sound is okay, type 4. Just type 4 if the sound is okay. Alright. So here is about the Yo Bing Yin talking about commitment to reduce our greenhouse effect by 45% 2030. I think right now our government under Perikatan, they have their hands full with the COVID. This will definitely be missed. Now remember, the Paris climate is all about what we call self-regulatory, which means we commit to this agreement, but it's not binding one, which means if we don't achieve, no problem also. Take note. So if you don't achieve, you go and meet up in Glasgow this year. I think maybe Khairi Jamaluddin will go because he is representing the Ministry of Finance. He will say, look, we meet 20% only. No problem one. If you do not meet, all they do is they shame you only. That's all. Apa? You tak ada buat, you cakap mau buat 45% by 2030. Of course, KJ will say, hey, we got problem of COVID, tak ada duit, all this kind of thing. So again, it's self-regulatory inside here. But more important is people getting together and sort of have this spirit, as a climate change activist to try to clamp down. Else we're going to get more fire, we're going to get more bushfire, we're going to get temperatures. And of course, US, last year, they have number of hurricanes, more than 30 hurricanes. That's right, nobody even start counting. There are more than 30 hurricanes. And this was caused by global warming. Can you imagine 1 year got 30 hurricanes? 1 year only 12 months. So which means 2 hurricanes a month. Right? Yeah. Right, so this is what. Now also, some of you are interested to read about our Malaysia. This is way back in 2013. There's a QR code. You can scan this in here. The COP21, Conference of Party to the United Nations Framework. Okay, and that tells about the climate change inside here. So all this eventually boils down to dollar and cent. That's all I'm interested, and I'm going to tell you the dollar and cents right now. So is this good so far? If you like what I'm sharing in here, if you're right, give me a thumbs up, okay? So make sure my speed is okay, the information coming to you are well researched and so forth. Okay, so let's get down to the dollar and cents, all right? Okay, now so with that, this later on transfer to what we call the our commitment. So-called commitment to the COP21 or the Paris Climate 2015 that we need to be by 2030, 20% must come from renewable energy. All right, so we're going to go down to that. So in here is the Malaysia Green Energy Solar, since we're talking about in the context of the PV. Between 2020 and 2014, the number of solar in Malaysia grew 44%. While globally it grew 30%. Now, as I said before, in Malaysia, because there's only 2 viable sources, okay, don't talk about Bakundam, okay? Bakundam is hydro, there are not too many we can build, okay, because we don't have mountainous area, and river it's very expensive too. So we have solar, we have wind, that's it. There's a 2 viable source. But as I said before, in Malaysia, we don't have a lot of wind in West Malaysia. Maybe Sabah Sarawak we have. So we only left with solar because plenty of sunshine in here. So we need to, again, going back to the current policies, although the administration, Khairi has not come out to make any statements so recently about this renewable energy being commitment to 2025, which means only 4 more years only, because we are supposed to do some announcements which I'll share with you in here. Many of the green energy movement have incentive, because some of you did ask that about the 10 year 70% in here. So if you build something at your house on top of your roof, you can have some sort of loan or some tax exempted in here, the income. So which means you, let's say you put like my friend's house at 400,000, you put 4K to 5K, you get you don't have to pay any tax at all. So 70%. Pretty good. I think that's pretty reasonable too. So there's a lot of tax incentive in here, and from budget 2023 to budget 2020, there was a green income tax in here. So to achieve that, the government came out with NEM 3.0. all right, which is stand for net energy metering, means you actually used to be the old feed-in tariff. Now it just changed the name. And My Surya and LSS, which is the large-scale solar farm, now they call it. If you drive down Seremban, you'll see just next to the highway, there's this thing like solar farm. I thought it was vegetable, those black netting, but it's not. It's actually solar farm. A lot of them. Malacca also got. Now some of you who have stayed there, you will take photo. That's definitely great in here. All right. So what does that mean? The LSS large solar scale, the large solar. So there's all a rollout 2021, 2 billion project on LS3, LS4, LS5 they're talking about in here. But guess what? So far, no announcement has been who has made the winner in here. So you can take a snapshot of this one to see what are the company: TNB, Muda Jaya, Consortium, Highcom, Revenue. But all this cannot buy one except for Cypark. Okay, but Cypark stock price, not sure. I'm going to share with you inside there. All right, now this is a very important site that sort of give you the information where we are coming from in here. Now, if you notice, total contract for LSS4, this is from News System called the LSS Mentari. That's some. So it's 4 billion total for 1 gigawatt. So it will create 12,000 opportunity in here. The submission was supposed to, people need to submit was last year August, and winner very important, expected to announce very soon. So there's 2 package, the 500 megawatts, which is for 10 megawatts and 30 megawatts smaller scale. And guess what? Who are Solarvest? And then package number 2, the bigger one, 30 megawatts to 50 megawatts is KPower, Pajaya and V Solar. So you only left with, these are your target lists, right? Now remember, I said before, share price tend to move ahead before major announcement. Right now we have COVID-19, correct? So maybe this announcement, which supposed to announce in December, they did not announce. When? We don't know. Because right now we got declaration of emergency, right? Summa pun postpone lah. Because first now, just like Biden, first 100 day, cow team the COVID-19 vaccine first. So that's why we didn't see any announcement. If we don't have vaccine, this already jalan already. What do you think? What I say, they make sense because of the COVID-19, right? So in here, so a lot of solar farm you can understand in here. So again, let's look at something what happened today. Now today, I posted on the Facebook. You can see on the left hand side, this is a QR code to an interview that was done by the business journalist, Miss Praya from the Malaysian Reserve, and she asked me about opinion about renewable energy, and I gave her my outlook. And guess what? The stocks really fly today. Let me just get this again. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. All right. So you can see few things here. Number one, Solarvest today closed. Today, this evening, closed 13.3% up. Right. And if you look in here, does the share know something that we don't know? Could a major event be coming very, very soon? We don't know yet. I also don't know, to be frank with you. Of course, some of these I got it, I think 23rd, I already start talking, 23rd November, I already start talking about it. The fact that we have this climatic movement, and guess what? For our member, take notice of NS bar for Solarvest. Now, those of you who know, the past track record of NS bar on sign of strength going higher, it's good, isn't it? Right? So excuse me. So there is a lot of merits what is happening in here. I don't know what event, but definitely on technical charts, I know something is going on. And also what I've just talked about, and many of you who are here tonight will understand what I've talked about. This information will definitely help you going forward. Now, on the left hand side, do take the QR code and you can see what are things I've talked about inside here. Definitely tonight it's a full blown version of what I've talked about, but there is a little bit more on that part. All right, so it's my little bit of contribution to the so-called solar investment in here. If you guys got it right, that's why we were saying that. All right, now on the 25th of November last year, when I first talked about solar, it was you can subscribe to the YouTube or just Google. This was the first part. This one will be part 2. Tonight talk is part 2, where we left off in there. All right, so you can just type KLSE solar under, you can find that video about 1 hour long. But also very important, not all share moves to 6. Now these are the 6 stocks that I'll be talking in here. I'm just gonna, the last 10 minutes, I'm sort of gonna wrap it up. So make sure you guys got the info. Number 1, KPower. Number 2, Solarvest, Samaden, Cypark, MFCB, and Solar. All right, so take a picture of this one. That's all. These are the 6 stocks you want to be looking at. We already talked about Solarvest inside here. Now, of course, the KPower, All right, very number one inside there. Now, very important. Why I want to show you this? If you notice, from the 25th of November, this 25th of November, KPower gone up 100%. Yep, 25th of November. Solarvest gone up 85%. Samaden got up by 50%. Cypark gone up by 15%. MFCB gone up by 2%. Solarvest didn't gone up, as a matter of fact, lost money. So not all stock moved the same. All right, they all move, but all in reaction to how the tender is. Remember those names just show you, right? You know what those names are, right? Make sure you get that one. If not, watch this video back again. So important one. So in here, so you can see the MEM 3.0, which is part and parcel of the Paris Accord. So you can see from the Paris climate change, it trickled down to the 1 giga projects inside here, and then coming down. All right, so in here we have 3 projects in here: domestic, government buildings, commercial, industrial. You can see even Marseng or Enix, all the building roof inside there. So you can see a lot of the factories, especially the rubber glove, very intensive one, very electricity intensive. So eventually the government is going to come up with some rule. Hey, you rubber glove fella, you all make so much money, right? Please install a solar panel on top of your roof. So far, I don't think many of them are installed. If have, I normally keep track of them. I know the Mydin and Tesco, they are installing on top, because you can't see unless you have a drone or helicopter you can see. So what they are saying that going forward, a lot of these like NE 3.0 and definitely KPower in here. This is reported on the 2nd of February in Smart Robie Facebook. I think I posted this. It's talk about KPower 3.0 was available from 2021 to 2023, a quota of 500 megabytes. These are all the information here, right? But what's more important is KPower is trying to bid for 200 million. 200 million with a net profit of 10%, so they calculate 20 million margin. So very simple, they go for, let's say go for 500 million or 200 billion in this case, they're going to get 20 million, so plus minus about 10 million. So 10 million then divided by number of shares, then you know how much the price go up. That is why, if you notice, KPower, okay, has gone up a lot. Now these are other projects, okay, because of energy in here. Take a picture of this. This came out on Star Business on 12th of December. All these are publicly information in here, but we want to narrow down where it is. We got the Mega First, Powernet, Advanced-Con didn't move sideways, still sideways. Thalia's work still sideways, all right. You can see 80 cents. Solarvest, that's the one move up. I think I showed you, right? KPower move up 100%. Solarvest about 80 plus. Malakoff 90 cents. Check out Smart Robie too. Samaden and Cypark. But the stocks that I like, I'm going to talk about it next in here, right? So these are information in here. So let's talk about the stocks that I like. Number 1 to number 6. Definitely, let's look about one by one. Solar, V-Solar, it's out. Okay, so we left with 5 only. Because why? You can see if everybody jalan, this bugger drop berapa? 30%. No? So something is not right. So we iron out by this one. If you want, you go and buy cheaper. Cheap can get cheaper. Alright, so we want to look at number 1 to number 5 in here. So number 1, let's look at the Powernet. For the first time, Powernet, we know this project in here. Now, of course, Powernet, RHP, published this on the 2nd of February in here. They talk about how much you're going to get, they calculated. So right now we can see red pendant comes out. So that tells me a lot. This is definitely good news. So when you see good news, they will see a lot of profit taking. Smart money again, distributing on top on the disguise of good news. Right now there's not much news about the solar power. Stock started to move up, but a lot of people, very funny one, they want to wait first. Wait until good news. Like now, they buy. Remember? Pharma Niaga, now Pharma Niaga say they got this project, that project, they got Puchong good. Stock price cannot go up. Smart money already dumb already, isn't it? Can still hear me or not? Is the sound coming okay? Right? Just let me know. If the sound coming in, just type 4. Okay? Should be alright because the sound is coming. If you can hear me, just type 4. Alright? Type 4. I want to make sure the sound is okay. So this is where we talk about Powernet, very important. So good news, people distribute. You can see here also, our members. All right, this is climatic, very climatic in here. Okay, good. The sound. So we can see here climatic action. Right, let me just get my my mouse here. You can see here climatic action. That's where you can see distribution in here. So again, going back to those charts, Samaden la, Solarvest la, look for climate action. And you can see all this are what we call the VSI bar. It's part and parcel of our Pentagon Guider system inside there. You can see there. All right. So you can see this is definitely profit taking, but the stock has gone up 166%. We know Solarvest has not. Okay. So because why? This fella, I'm going to give you a summary towards the end there. Okay. Just hang on a minute. Now, number 2 is Solarvest. They did a lot of LSS projects, so they're bidding for LSS 3, LSS 4, LSS 5. Doesn't matter. They won't tell you what. Once they win only, they will tell you. When they win, they win. What do? You sell the stocks, right? Correct. No, that's how you play the game. So in here, you have the Davis Chong, which is the CAO. He comes out and gives some time here and there, about the solar power in here. And right now with the theme, which is, after you understand what's happening to the US, you bring the US trend right to Malaysia. You can see this is going to come soon already, right? So you can see university, shops, right? Tesco, all the roof lah, they're going to boom. And then all the rubber glove because they want to make money, isn't it? Right? So that's why you notice Tenaga, people are using less and less. They're going to be very self-sufficient and they're going to sell it back to this thing inside here. So of course this is from page 96 of Solarvest, how optimistic their growth rate is, right? These are all projection, 200 megawatts. Again, these are all bidding, 200 megawatts power. So they're going to go for the 30 and 100 and more. So this is all going to translate to dollar and cents. Right, then we have Samadhan. This is actually led by a very capable female CEO. Right, she's a group MD, IR Chow Pui Hee. So he talks about in his prospectus, talk about how much they grow 126%, LSS1, and they just got listed last year in November only. And they did a lot, Nibong Tabao, Johor, Negeri Sembilan, very big one, all these big projects. Right, so you see a lot installer in here. Sometimes they call it EPCC. Okay, EPCC for that matter in here. Okay, projection, Kage, I think I'll talk about the cumulative average growth, 100%, 200% inside here. This will continue to grow. But remember, by the time you see this confirm, just like our rubber glove, remember? Rubber glove already confirmed stock price come down. It's like, so you have to see the stock move up first. Stock move up first, then your profit will come in. So we always look at the volume because these are leading indicators. By the time you get down to the PBT, your profits, just like the Hatta Lega, all this always slowly. So when people buy, follow fundamental like that, how to make money. They want to wait until confirmation, confirmation money come in already. But having said that, I think, going forward, the solar panel, this is just the beginning. Remember, we have the event, we talk about the November event, the COP26. In November in Glasgow, where they meet. So all these news will come out. Newspaper will see more and more and more and more. Then stock price will go higher. And when the good news come out, sell. All right. So that's doesn't take a scientist to figure this out, right? Okay. Good. I hope you all enjoy this, right? I'm enjoying explaining all this very simple way to follow the smart money. Am I right? Okay. Now next one, let's look at the Cypark. Now, Cypark, definitely, they have a lot floating in here. This one, they have some, financials. How do I say that? They have very high debts, basically. That's one of the, when I look at the balance sheet inside here. Not one of the best, but having said that, they are still okay. But I'll give you a summary. So the next one is more renewable energy. I think have a lot of great potential is MFCB, okay? This very famous for their Cambodia projects that we have been talking about, hydro dams, which I think they have a 20 or 30 year concession, so money pour in one, this one is coming in. So but more importantly is to see this kind of news, MFCB participating and some news leaking out, you can see. But today, MFCB already started to move. Check out the stock price, okay? Because I talked about this in the breakfast show this morning in here. And also, the profit has dipped down, so you notice the price also dipped down in here. But with new project, they have begun an installed solar panel plantation in Cambodia, and we want to see those news coming back in here. And you can see this thing start moving in here. All right. Okay, for summary in here, this is what I think very important. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Number 1, I think KPower is one of the best. I think they will win a lot of projects because it's Bumi partner. The face fronting it, it's very, very pro Bumi, and I think they win more of the government projects. But having said that, the stock price has moved a fair bit. Solarvest is on the way going up. You can see EPCC. Just take a picture of this one. Then you kind of know which one. Look at the chart and choose in between there. Samadhan, as I said, is a recent IPO, just October, gone up a fair bit. Cypark, again, renewable. Ratings, no. PABB is 20%. This one is more than 100%, but likely to taper off. But if they keep winning the big project, once they announce the LSS 4 or 5. I cannot confirm yet. There's not much of a news inside there. If they win, you can see the Kage is going to shoot up too. Here the Kage, it means the revenue is likely to taper up too again. But more important is the news that they are getting it. If the stock price go up, don't be afraid to buy on new high. That's all I said. Don't be afraid to buy on new high, because coming on there'll be more and more news. But watch out for the volume. So it's important, as I said before, many of our members, that you all understand price and volume, because there's very little information going out from a fundamental point. All we know is smart money accumulating and smart money selling. Example is KPower, isn't it? The news comes out, RHB research cover it up a lot, and they're saying that they're going to get a lot of projects, and guess what? You see a red pentagon in there. So this is my sort of summary to you guys for spending your time 1.5 hours with me. All right, of course, to find more great shares, we have our FA screener, and those of you who have subscribed to our package in here, definitely we already talked about some other sectors like the technology stocks, because tonight is just all about solar. Then we talk about the industrial services in here. All these are color coded to find the next best trade in there for here. Of course, for newbie, as I said before, always look at the chart when you find up to. And don't forget, these 5 global trends should be in your report card, should be in all your trend. If you want to make money 2021, these are the 6 sectors that you must have. Something as a gift for me to you, so you can make money in here. Now, for the more elderly one, can you able to switch out to some of these in here, right? Being very dominant in here. Now, of course, we are coming to the end. Thank you for watching. I have these 2 QR code, right? Do go over and give me your best feedback. If you don't do a good job, let us know. If you do a good job, give me a feedback on my Google and also Facebook as a token of appreciation. All right, that's all. And don't forget, this weekend on Friday, that's right, we are preparing for our masterclass 3-day intake. Now, do take note, we have lots and lots to cover. Actually, as a matter of fact, we have a lot to cover, and some of you don't know, our regular masterclass will include what we call more than 2 to 3 times live FB and Zoom training every week, just like one of these, but we'll zoom down to more entry and exit, that kind of things that we do in here. All right, and so don't forget, we're going to meet up on Friday. Those of you who sign up for masterclass, and we still have a couple of seats left. If you're interested, do let us know, and we definitely welcome you too. All right, let's go on to, and don't forget our Pentagon Guardian, which is available. But last but not least, I have something to share with you too. Don't go away so soon yet. This is our review in here. Our February class for the US market is the 5 prediction for our KLSE market and for 2021. All right, so thank you, and our next talk, February 24th. That's right, February 24th, after Chinese New Year, because next week I will spend more time with my masterclass member to go through the US market, some of the stocks we'll be looking from the solar side in US. But we'll be back for a public talk on the 24th of February, 9:30. It's 5 lessons from the biggest stock winner in 2020. You can see some of the stocks, 430%, top gloves, and so on and so forth. We will look at them and study them too. All right, some of the top gloves. Of course, if not, do join our Telegram chat that we have tonight. Don't miss it, and not to be out. So all in all, I ask for your favor. Do rate us tonight on our my Google as also on my Facebook. And I think the information that I present to you are very succinct and able to give you a path. When I talk about solar power, you know what stock to look like. You will know what is NEP 3.0. You know what is LSS 3, LSS 4. If not, do watch this video again, and I hope the information that I've given to you will help you to prosper in the coming Biden green policy to come. So that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you on Friday breakfast show. If not, I'll see you on Friday night for our masterclass. For our masterclass member, let's re-attend back our February intake, and let's make more money in the coming months. All right, thank you. Good night, and don't forget to rate me in my Google and also Facebook. Thank you very much. And that's the token appreciation I hope that you can give us at TradeVSA, and to my team in here for doing all the research and giving you those opportunity and trade idea for 2021. Thank you very much, and good night.